Hi guys, so welcome to this video. And yeah, so sorry for clickbaiting you guys into clicking on this video, but I'm not going to talk about how to cheat. You were part of the test unit and this was an experiment. Okay, Baki video, so many videos I posted, you won't click on those, but this one you want to watch. Okay, but anyways, don't worry, I'm not that of a bad guy. Uh, I'm just going to kind of share my screen and go through revising most of the key points that were there very quickly. Okay, so I'm hoping that you guys know already these concepts, and just if I had put it at revision, people would not have seen. But because you're here right now, just try and listen to this. I'll not keep it very long, max 10 minutes. Okay, so just listen to this and you will not need to cheat. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to discuss is the difference between absorption costing and marginal costing. So in this case, what the main difference that happens, I hope you guys know this, but I'm just going highlighting these points. Absorption costing and let's take marginal costing first. In marginal costing, it's sales minus variable cost gives your contribution, and then minus fixed cost gives your profit. Now, the difference is that in marginal costing, you have your variable manufacturing overhead over here. You also have a variable selling overhead over here before contribution. Okay, and all fixed overheads, whether manufacturing related or selling administrative general related, those are after contribution. But in case of absorption costing, what happens is that we club all the production related expenses under one head, whether it is fixed or variable. Okay, and we take all the absorption costs, um, all the other fixed and variable expenses related to just selling general and administrative expenses, we take it after cost of goods sold. Okay, so and also this under absorption and over absorption. So the difference, another difference is that because over here these are per unit, so in variable cost, the sales minus variable cost is per unit, but fixed cost is not per unit. We don't know how much to allocate to sales, so we use in absorption costing, when we take over here fixed manufacturing overhead, we use an absorption rate. How do we get absorption rate? Based on the budgeted rate. We use a budgeted rate to allocate that not allocate, to absorb that cost. Okay, now this will be different from your actual cost, so that difference, whether under absorption or over absorption, is used to calculate this under absorption, over absorption, to adjust that amount. Okay, ultimately the net profit will be same. No, it will not be same, actually it will be different because of the difference between the finished goods, because here what will happen is your fixed manufacturing overhead that gets taken into consideration in the fixed cost, finished goods, but in this case that does not get taken into consideration. So that is where the difference lies. Opening stock of finished goods is the same for both, but the closing stock of finished goods in case of absorption costing will include your fixed manufacturing overhead as well. Okay, next topic. Next topic is degree of operating leverage. So degree of operating leverage, what was it? Main one crux, if I have to say, if the fixed cost is high, that company or that unit has a high degree of operating leverage. If the company has a more fixed cost, high degree of operating leverage. High degree of operating leverage means that if I produce more, I will earn more. If I produce less, I will earn less. Okay, so that is the crux of the entire thing. So in this case, because the fixed fees was high, as the unit started to increase, the profit started to increase at a higher rate. Okay, so main crux, degree of degree of operating leverage is high if your fixed cost is high, and that leads to higher profit in case your number of units are more. Okay, so you use your leverage of operations to earn more profits in the. Okay, next topic is absorption, ABS activity. I don't know what is this. Anyways, so in this case, this is again marginal costing. So 100 minus 20, 80 is the contribution minus fixed cost is profit. Now, if I increase sales over here, sales does not mean sale price. Sales means the number of units. So if I increase the number of units that I sell, in that case, my sales will go up, my variable cost will also go up because variable cost is also linked to your number of units. Okay, so ultimately your contribution goes up, but if you check the PV ratio will also still be the same. 104 divided by 130 will still be 80%. Okay, obviously fixed cost is the same, so that's why profit will increase. Decrease variable cost by 30%. So if I decrease my variable cost by 30%, the contribution will increase, and yeah, contribution increasing means PV ratio increases. PV ratio increases means profit increases. Got it? Okay. Decrease fixed cost by 30%. If I decrease fixed cost by 30%, it does not have any impact on my contribution because this remains the same. So irrespective of what my fixed cost is, my PV ratio remains the same, and my 30% fixed costs. So my fixed cost increases or profit decreases, but does not have any impact on the PV ratio. Next topic. Acha, this was done. Okay. Cost classification. This was a very basic topic covered earlier. I don't think it is the last question. So I'm just highlighting a few things that are important. So over here, fire loss or abnormal loss is not a cost. Depreciation of machinery is a cost. Purchase of machinery is not a cost. Okay. Again, a lot of these are very subjective, so I don't know. Dividend paid to shareholder is not a cost, it's an appropriation of profit. Okay, dividend is paid to the shareholders out of the profits that we earn, so it's not a cost. Again, these are all okay. I think some people had a confusion with freight inwards. Freight comes in, that means it's manufacturing. Freight outwards is selling. Okay, bribes paid, donation not a cost. Packing charges, so any primary packaging that is used, so the medicine bottle, that is a primary packing, that comes under manufacturing, but any secondary packaging which is mainly for selling. So in the question, if it says fancy or something, that means it's a secondary packaging, and that you have to, one second. Yeah, so as I was saying, if it's a secondary packaging or fancy packaging given in the question, that will come under selling cost. Rest, I don't think this part might come in the exam, but still, last time also we thought it will be very easy, so that's why I'm just being a little more skeptical. Anything can come. Again, cost sheet. I'll just run you through the entire format very quickly. You have to kind of understand the flow of the cost sheet. So firstly, you have to determine the prime cost. So what is covered in the prime cost? Direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. Direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. Direct material, how will you find material? So inventory has three components. First is first is your raw material, second is your work in progress, third is your finished goods. Inventory means any raw material that you purchase and store. Work in progress is any product that is under process, has not been completed, that is called work in progress. Finished goods are those goods that have been completed and are lying idle and have not been sold. So raw material, so whatever raw material purchase, raw material, so your opening stock for raw material plus purchases, out of that you deduct the closing stock, so that is the total amount of raw material that you used in production. So opening plus purchase minus closing equal to material consumed. Add to that labor, direct labor, so any wages in the factory or something which is directly attributable to the cost is direct labor. Direct expenses also in the same way, direct expenses which are directly attributable to that. So direct material, direct labor, direct expenses makes prime cost. Prime cost के साथ you add any variable expenses like factory overhead. If you add that, then that creates a gross works cost. In that gross works cost, you add your opening work in progress and deduct your closing work in progress. That will give you for factory cost. So it's important to kind of understand the flow of these questions. So like prime cost, after that gross works cost say factory cost. Factory cost may you include those costs which are quality control, research development, administrative, packing, which are kind of secondary like indirect expenses. So if you add those indirect expenses, so what is the difference between this factory overhead and these overhead? These are directly related to production but are not direct expenses. Okay. I'll not go too much into detail in this because I'll confuse you guys, so I'm just not going details. Cost of production, you add everything till now, that is cost of production. Finished goods plus opening finished good minus closing finished good. Valuation of closing finished good is very important. So whatever rate at which you value the cost of production, assuming that you're using FIFO method, you use that same rate to calculate the closing stock of finished goods. Once you do that calculation, you'll get the cost of goods sold. Again, production, we are incurring cost to produce a lot of things, but we are not selling all of those. Whatever is the finished good, we are reducing that, and whatever we are selling, we are taking into cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold, you add the administrative overhead, marketing overhead, selling overhead, distribution overhead, that gives you the cost of sales. On the cost of sales, you add profit percentage, and then that will give you the sales figure. Profit percentage could be given as 15% of sales, so you have to kind of back calculate. So that's all the time that I'll take from you guys. Thank you for clicking on the video. I know it was clickbait, but I think it was necessary because I knew that if I put some other title, you'll not click on it. Okay, so hopefully you don't have to cheat, but if you have to, then find people. And yeah, I hope people understood the things, and best of luck for the exams.